webinar related to one of the new programs that we're announcing called Raise Your Game, and it has to do with our coaching and connection big ideas for Startup Maryland as we move into 2013 and beyond. So we won't take much of your time this morning, but a lot of you have asked for some details on the program that we're putting together. Joining me today is Greg Smith, who is CEO of a ramp-up company, I guess, Greg, called CoolSpan, and he's joined us as one of our champions for the acceleration program that we're going through for 2013 and beyond, and was really one of the folks from the ranks of Startup Maryland, serial entrepreneur, that agreed with us that the concept of coaching and mentorship is absolutely critical for the DNA of Startup Maryland as we move forward, and it also maps to one of the broader objectives for Startup America on a national basis. So thanks, Greg, for joining, and I'm actually going to hand off to Greg to talk a little bit about the component pieces of this program that we call Raise Your Game that we're going to be announcing later today with a press release. Before I do that, I just want to kind of let you all know where this resides into the overall universe of Startup Maryland activities and the programs that we have going on. For those of you who did join us during the champion session near the end of the year up in Baltimore and Baltimore, we came up with one theme that was kind of creating an unfair advantage for Maryland startups, and then also several big ideas or programs that we wanted to kind of hang our hat on for 2013 and beyond. So as you can see here, connection, celebration, coaching, and capital, they're pretty much our 4 C's. The team of champions that joined us, the 20-plus of you that kind of helped us muddle through, over 20 different areas that we could have concentrated on. These are the 4 areas that bubbled up to the top, and we're going to build programming around. On the connection side, you may have noticed that last month, together with Co-Founders Lab, we launched the Team Finder portal. So you can go onto the Startup Maryland website and launch into our Startup Maryland branded Co-Founders Lab site and find either co-founders or management team members and do a lot of analysis of who's right for you at this time and find folks to help you build your business and take it to the next level. The celebration side, we're going to be doing a lot of things along that line. The Pitch Across Maryland 2.0, the bus tour this year is on again in September, and a lot of mobilization around that with the 6+ months ahead of time. And then also a PR storytelling effort and campaign that we're going to do with the champions, kind of telling the story of their peers, is something that we'll be announcing some things around in the coming weeks and months. This particular announcement on the Raise Your Game Bootcamp or Mentorship program really is our anchor tenant under the coaching category. And we have some things on the capital side. Recently, the Invest Maryland Challenge was something that we mapped to after the Pitch Across Maryland and the tour, and we were a feeder system for the Invest Maryland Challenge. We're also doing some things with the Mid-Atlantic Venture Conference and the Southeast Venture Conference and a few other programs on the finding and acquiring capital side. But with that, we wanted to kind of do a little bit of a deep dive into the Raise Your Game program. All the logistics have not been announced as far as the location for the start dates. We're looking at the July timeframe and pretty much having a monthly session through the end of the year. But let me introduce Greg Smith to talk through a little bit of why this concept was important, how it developed, and then what he, Sam Polikoff, another champion, and I kind of worked on the putting a framework together for what we're calling the Raise Your Game program. Greg?
Yeah, thanks so much, Mike. I really appreciate the opportunity to participate with you and Julie and Startup Maryland. I'm very excited about the genesis of the Raise Your Game program for CEOs, technology founder CEOs, and existing CEOs who want to learn the ins and outs of starting a company, growing a company, and then also creating a successful exit, because that's what we're all about, is creating value in our companies and companies within the state of Maryland. So the genesis of this program, again, is trying to provide a series of classes that are taught by experienced entrepreneurs around a series of topics which I feel are very important to create a successful enterprise in the state of Maryland. And the agenda that we have really touches on the key pillars of building a company. So we start off from an agenda standpoint of what it is to be a CEO. And Mike and I have planned a very special guest to come in a very successful CEO in his own right, to come in and talk about starting a company and building it, taking it through IPO, and then really dominating a category in a given market. Again, the students will certainly learn really what it's like to be a CEO and how to be a CEO. The second class will talk about starting up a company, the legal pitfalls, hiring your first employees, ensuring that you have financing as well as a good core accounting system in place. The third topic, the third class, again, is all about financing. It's raising money, again, getting your financial house in order, which is vital for all of us to ensure our success. The fourth topic is all about staying focused and virtualizing your company. How do you continue to stay focused on building a great business, outsourcing non-core functions, and becoming agile in this crazy business environment that we're involved with today? The fifth topic is your go-to-market strategy, all about sales and marketing. How are you going to not only position your product in the marketplace, but how are you going to sell it? I think we're going to have some great speakers on that particular topic. And of course, as you begin to grow your business, where we're going to actually create some community around this particular program, where we will have a network of CEOs where we can work together as peers to support problems and opportunities. It'll also give you a chance to pay it forward by participating in future CEO Raise It Your Game workshops, as well as continue to have networking opportunities. So think of it as a web-based community where we all can communicate with one another about maybe job opportunities or openings that you have within your company, have the ability to ask questions about insurance or a cap table or a specific need, or maybe even an intro into a given company. Again, the whole purpose is trying to educate, but then also collaborate down the road in a very closed environment where we have the ability to work together to really grow the entrepreneurial foundation of the state of Maryland. Mike, did I miss anything?
No, that's perfect, Greg, and thank you for that broad overview. So Greg was one of the drivers of this from the champions rank. Also Sam Poligoff, president of TBB Global, also board chair of the Towson Global Incubator Program. Two guys that are very passionate about the fact that entrepreneurs learn the most from other entrepreneurs. And if you've been with us for Startup Maryland for any period of time through our first year and now as we creep into year two, that concept of led by entrepreneurs and for entrepreneurs is something that we try to stay religious with in just about every program that we do. And a very good example of that here with the Raise Your Game. So when Greg talks about the sessions being led and proctored by entrepreneurs, these are going to be folks that you'll recognize, mostly serial entrepreneurs, multiple exits under their belt, gone through a lot of pitfalls and pivoted many times themselves and their companies, and really good perspective on kind of some of the things to be aware of as you move your company towards inflection. The best folks for the Raise Your Game program are probably first-time founders, entrepreneurs are obviously the ideal candidates, but folks that might have maybe one or two under their belt, but maybe looking for a big pop with number 3 or 4, and want to kind of migrate and roadmap effectively towards that inflection of your startup and your company. So that's our main goal. We will be having, some folks have asked us, well, are service providers involved? Yes and no. They're going to be invited to kind of reinforce the concept and the messaging around the main topics that Greg just highlighted, but they're not going to be driving the agenda. And we found that there's a lot of training and educational programs out there in the domain. So, we're not inventing something from and then learn from that, move forward, build your business, and then flood everything we do with Startup Maryland. So keep an eye on this. We're going to be providing more detail as far as the logistics of where. We have a couple of venues as Raise Your Game, and then also the entrepreneurs that are going to be leading this session time frame. So any of you that are interested in learning more and kind of getting in the queue quickly, 25 or 30 individuals to go through this first round. We're probably able to, we already have folks. So with that, we just wanted to give you a quick overview. We'll give you up on the Startup Maryland YouTube site as kind of a primer on what we're announcing with Raise Your Game. Look for the press release a little bit later today, Thursday the 14th. And then get in touch with us if you have some more questions or want to understand a little bit more. Also be involved with one of the topics that we've hit on. We'd love to hear from you and get you involved as one of the proctors of this session. So with that, Greg, once again, I want to thank you and Stan with it on this and move forward. We watch your game program, so I think we're going to try and do it for the second Thursday of each month. So you may be receiving that in your inbox as a heads up. Feel free to join us as we go into a little bit more depth on each topic as we do the program, but then also letting you know updates of who's involved from the mentorship side and the logistics on the when and where. Thanks again.